It's just before 8 a.m. It's really early. It's actually not really early, but it's early considering the time I've been going to bed lately. I'm catching a bus to the city because work today is a bit different. I have a training, and if I miss the next bus, I might get there late, and I don't want to do that, so I better go. As it would obviously happen to me, I managed to stop at the wrong stop. Now I need to walk for like 10 minutes, and that's all the time I have. The bus drove past where I needed to go and then started driving away. I'm so confused right now. I wanted to get a coffee beforehand, but I don't even know if I'm gonna have time. Maybe after all this running, I don't even need a coffee to wake up anymore. I'm almost there though. Today is the second episode of Weaknessday, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I started last Thursday. It's something I try to do every week when I talk about a weakness, because I want to make my vlogs more real. I don't want them to look like everything is perfect and amazing when it's actually not. And hopefully by talking about my weaknesses, it can help you too, because maybe I can tell you how I overcame them, or it can just be inspiring some way, or it may just look like I'm a real person as opposed to this person you see on the internet that everything looks amazing and happy. I worked in the city today because I had a training called Communicating with Confidence. It's something that it's just too noisy over here, and I don't feel very comfortable talking about personal things when there are so many people around, so I'm gonna find another place. As I was saying, today some people from work did a training in the city, and it was about communicating with confidence. And before the training we did this questionnaire, and it's called DISC, and it's basically to see what's your style, if it's like dominance, influence, steadiness, consciousness. The reason why this is blurry and you can't see what it is because on the bottom it says reproduction in any form, in whole or in part, is prohibited, and I think that putting in the video is a reproduction in some form. They really want to protect their intellectual property, hey? Sorry about that. But the result of that is not really important for what I want to say. It's interesting that today the training is about communication, that I also took a questionnaire for this training because I want to talk about communication, which is the weakness I want to talk about today, which coincidentally is also one of my strengths. What? In the place where I worked before, which is my church, we did this questionnaire called Gallup's Strengths Finder, and we all got our top 5 strengths out of 21, 20, not 30, I don't know, it's a lot. And the whole point and the whole theory behind Strengths Finder is that you find out your strengths, and instead of working on your weaknesses, you work on your strengths, because it's easier to work on something you're naturally gifted at than to work on something that you are not naturally gifted at. And according to Gallup's Strengths Finder, communication is my top 1 strength. Now, how is it possible that communication is my top 1 strength, but also one of my weaknesses? You can have a natural ability towards something, but if you don't improve and work on it, it's not gonna be strong. So for example, someone who has communication as their top strength or natural ability, but don't work on improving it, could be someone who just talks all the time and says inappropriate things all the time, which sometimes tends to be my case. As you probably already know, I like to talk. And that's a good thing for someone like me, whose strength is communication. I like to write stories, I like to talk, I like to communicate my points, I like to talk to a large group, I like to talk to a small group, I like to talk to individual people. That's my strength. But it takes a lot of work to learn to only talk when it's the right time to talk. Sometimes not saying anything makes you look wiser than you actually am. And sometimes saying the right thing at the wrong time makes you look like a fool. And while I think I improved in that area, there are times when I fail. There are times when I think back to a situation and I just think, oh my gosh, I talked the entire time. I didn't let anyone else talk, and I feel a bit bad about it. And sometimes it's also particularly hard when the English, and it's also sometimes particularly hard when the main language that everyone around me speaks is not my first language. It's very frustrating to me when I want to convey a message, but I can't because I don't know the right word to do it. See, or when I just don't pronounce the words properly or say things like what I just said that I didn't edit out because I wanted to see what reality is for me. See, again, I did it again. And I also found that at work, when I try to explain an idea to someone, my brain just goes ahead of me and I start talking about things, and halfway through my explanation I realized that I didn't lay out the basics, what people need to understand to be able to understand what I'm talking right now, and I have to stop and say, sorry, let's start from the beginning, because I was just too fast and I didn't explain it properly. And while I really appreciate feedback, I really take on feedback and I try to improve, not just in this area but in other areas. I like improving. It's sometimes really hurtful when people tell me oh, your English is terrible, you can't do this. Because that's what I like to do most. I like to communicate. And it's so frustrating when I can't because of English skills or something like that. And you might think, hold on, I watch your videos, you're really good at communicating. What are you talking about this being your weakness? It doesn't make any sense. There are a few factors there. One of them is editing. Editing is amazing. You can just make things sound significantly better than they actually are in real life. If I didn't like the delivery of a line, I can just redo it as many times as I want and put the best one in the video. But it is also true that I've been living in Australia for about 10 years now, and yes, my English improves significantly and my ability to communicate improves every day. And just by doing vlogging every day, I can see the difference it made in the way I talk, in the way I explain my ideas. Even at work, when I have to talk about things that are completely unrelated to the things I talk about on camera. This has helped me so much. And the fact that at church I work with kids, and kids will laugh at every single mispronunciation I deliver, that really helped me learn how to speak better as well. And you know, I also learned to laugh at myself. Whenever kids laugh at me for pronouncing something wrong, I repeat it, I laugh at myself. I just join in. Whenever people give me constructive criticism about the way I communicate or the way I pronounce things or the way I say things, I just take on, I laugh as well, I joke. And if I think it's not valid criticism, I just, yeah, sure. And then later on I'm like, pfft, as if I'm gonna listen to this person. And of course, as I said before, sometimes it's really frustrating when I want to convey a message and I can't. Or I make a mistake, or when people can't understand me. But I'm just glad that I get to practice, and I'm glad that every day I'm improving on that. And I'm making my strength, which is communication, to be less of a weakness and more of an actual, very powerful strength. I think that's it for Weaknessday. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was inspiring. I hoped you laughed at me. I don't know. But right now I need to catch my bus and go home and open my advent calendar with Amelie. Amelie, open, open, open. Wow. Wow. Alright, that's it for today. Tonight, Shelly and I are going on a date because Megan is looking after Amelie because she's such a great friend.
I am.
She is. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Just waiting for the train. It's very noisy. Can't do anything here. It's too noisy. I don't even know why I'm trying. There's no place in the city where this it's just so noisy.